Hey everyone, happy Thursday and welcome to another episode of Day in the Life of Vintage Classic Specialist. So as promised, here is the posterior end of the 69 Beetle cowlook, all pretty much finished up, other than the owner who's got a custom license plate for it that I'll show when we get it on here. I think he's actually going to come by tomorrow and put it on. And it is a super awesome custom personalized license plate, and it is absolutely perfect for this car. Not going to spill the beans, so watch tomorrow and see what it says, but you guys are going to love it, I'm sure. So anyway, yeah, the deck lid went on yesterday, and well, here, let's go ahead and pop it open. I think I had mentioned that I had to do a lot of work on this latch here to actually get it to latch. I extended this latch probably, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch maybe. It just wasn't catching on the little sheet metal piece there. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't think the rear apron on this car hasn't been replaced. The deck lid lines up really nice. I can't imagine why that wasn't catching, but you know, sometimes stuff like that happens and you got to solve it. So the solution was to extend this latch so it, you know, basically come out further and it would catch on that thing. Works beautifully now. Kind of a pain, but yeah, welded it up and ground it down. Looks, you know, pretty factory. I don't think anyone would notice there was anything fishy with it if they looked. And so, yeah, anyway, I had done that yesterday. So today, the main thing that happened here with the rear lid is obviously putting on the housing here for the geez, I can't even talk today. Putting on the housing for the license plate light and the bracket for the license plate. I didn't put this on yesterday because I had forgot to order this, and it gets sandwiched between the deck lid and this housing, so wasn't any point in putting this housing on and then taking it back off to kind of insert this in there. Anyway, long story short, it's on now, and the deck lid spring, as you probably noticed, is also on, and it's chrome. That's what Wolfsburg West sells. Seems kind of weird, but I mean, it looks great on this car, but it seems kind of weird that Wolfsburg West sells chrome deck lid hinges, but there it is, and again, looks perfect on this car. A lot of people show this trick where you undo like the bolts from one side and then leave maybe one bolt on the other and tilt the deck lid over and put the spring in, and then you kind of like shove it back down. Or you do it with the deck lid completely unbolted, put the spring on, and then kind of push the deck lid down. We don't really like that method, and we don't really feel it's necessary because it would be way too easy, especially when you're tilting the thing, for this corner to say come and hit the body or something here. So luckily, Rafa and I, being professional mechanics, we have really, really strong hands. And so we put these on with the deck lid on and all attached on the hinges and stuff. You hook it on up underneath there, and then you pretty much push these one at a time into place and latch them through their respective place on the tab there. And that's how we do it. So if you have really strong hands, I recommend doing it that way, because at least on a car that's nicely painted, because you're less likely to scratch the paint, in my opinion. So anyway, that's how we do it. I don't guess there's any wrong or right way to do it, but for us, that's the right way to do it. And what else? Yeah, I routed the wiring here, obviously, for the license plate light, and got it all looking relatively neat. So that is it. Well, that's not it, actually. I lied. The other thing was we went ahead and retained the holes for the script. So the car is not really 100% dechromed, because we did leave the Volkswagen script on the trunk, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, it would also have looked good with that also shaven, but to me it's kind of fun, you know. And hey, it's a Volkswagen. Not that anyone wouldn't know who made this car when they look at it, but anyway, I think it looks good on there. And then likewise, what I did on the front of the car is we didn't fill the holes for this, and so the emblem up here, so it's on now. And again, this is a Wolfsburg West piece here. Really nice details on it too. It's actually painted black in the circle here, and then between the V and the W. Super nice looking piece actually. Chrome on it looks really nice, and then likewise the script back there, really nice. So those are the things that happened on this car today. Don't think I'm forgetting anything. Pretty much getting that deck lid on and that license plate light and wiring it and spraying and all that stuff. So this car is really, really close now. Mainly, I think I just need to test drive it some. The other thing I have to do, which I'm slightly annoyed about, is I haven't put one of the caps on one of the front wheels, the left side front wheel, because it doesn't clear the speedometer drive. And so I asked my MP guy today, what gives. And I thought I probably already knew the answer, but the solution is to pretty much like try and flatten out this cap. So it's like a dome shape. You may or may not be able to tell. There you can tell. So flatten out that dome somewhat, and then shave off kind of the excess off this drive here. You only have to leave enough for this little C-clip. But it's just annoying that parts need that kind of stuff, and it's pretty normal. I mean, this is the stuff that we do all day here with both aftermarket and stock parts. You gotta fiddle with them, but yeah, it's like, come on guys, just make the cap for the wheels like that much taller or whatever, so it would clear. Because how many people have run into this issue? They put on their bitchin' new wheels, and the cap won't go on the front left wheel because it's hitting the distributor drive. It's like, that's just dumb. I'm sorry. So MP, do better. Okay, that's it for that. Yeah, so super close on this one. So what else did I do today? What else I did today was got back to this beauty and trying to get everything up underneath the bus done, because it's much easier now without wheels and tires on there to crawl around, from the side and stuff like that. So trying to get everything underneath there done. And so today, went ahead and put the shocks on, which I also picked up this morning. Those are from Wolfsburg West. We really like their oil-filled stock shocks. They ride great. Don't see any point in putting fancy aftermarket shocks on here. So those went on today, and then I also connected the heater controls to the heater boxes and tested them out, and they work beautifully. So there's two levers on the dash, one for the left heater box, one for the right heater box. And yeah, they open and close their respective heater boxes very nicely. So pretty happy about that. These are, of course, aftermarket heater boxes, but they're pretty nice. They work pretty well. And these are the sort of like high performance or high flow heater boxes. I think they basically have like an 1 5/8" J tube in them. The stock heater boxes had the J tube, for lack of a better word, inside of the stock ones had all these like fins and stuff on it for heat exchange. And so I'm sure they were made for a much better heating system than these, which is again just a tube as far as I know in there with no fins on it or whatever for heat exchange. But it should still work pretty well. But anyway, so those are both hooked up. And then the other thing I did, which I had to, of course, customize because aftermarket parts, is if I can crawl under here. So the tubes which connect the body to the heater box, I bought the ones for this car, and of course they didn't fit. They were on this side, I think I cut probably, I don't remember, maybe 1.5 inches or so off the length of it. And on the other side, I cut off maybe more like 1/2 inch or closer to 3/4 maybe, because they were just too long. And so I guess that's probably due to a difference between again, these aftermarket heater boxes and factory heater boxes, maybe where, where this outlet is, maybe on the aftermarket ones, it's further that way. I don't know. But anyway, those things wouldn't fit. Luckily, these things come apart. So if any of you ever run into this, basically what you do is one end of this thing literally unscrews. This kind of accordion shape on here is literally like a big thread. And so the way these things go together is one end of them unscrews out of that thread and goes probably like probably about 4 threads in. And then inside there's fiberglass and basically like a big spring. And so you unscrew the end that comes off, and then you can cut back as far as you need to into this thing. And then you basically just screw the end cap back into it. And then, of course, you have to also trim the fiberglass and cut the spring to length. But it's really simple, surprisingly. So you just kind of like measure twice, cut once, as far as figuring out the length you need, and err on the side of making it too long, because you can always easily go back and trim more. But yeah, so yeah, it's just one of those things. You think, okay, I'm going to put on these heater tubes now. That ought to take about 10 minutes. And then, like an hour later, you're finishing because you had to go and customize them essentially. But, again, that's part of restoration work, and part of building hot rods and stuff like that is those kind of things that we have to problem solve on. But yeah, I think other than I need to buy some hose clamps. I'm going to go ahead and put hose clamps on them where they go onto the heater box and onto the body. I'll pick some up probably in the morning and put those on. And then I think I'm actually done underneath this bus to the point where I can put its wheels and tires on, at least on the back. There's probably a few things I still have to do up underneath the front of the bus, but at least getting the back of the bus on the ground, I think just those hose clamps, and it should be ready to go. So I think what else happened today? So another small thing that happened today is this came in. Thanks to Eddie Collins for sourcing this from us, Eddie from Eddie and Dave's Garage. This is a wiring harness for the 54 right-hand drive barn door bus, custom made by I don't know who in Germany. So again, Eddie took care of this for us and ordered this for us, and we actually had him customize it. I think I mentioned before we're going to add dual filament bulbs to the rear indicators on this bus, and in addition to the semaphores, we're going to go ahead separately and have blinking turn signals. Normally on these buses, these are only running lights, and then your brake light is up here. That'll still retain brake light function. These will still retain running light function, but then they'll also be turn indicators. So kind of cool. Yeah, so he was willing to add an extra wire to each side of the harness for us to do our little modification there. The other thing that happened today is that the Devil bus, this thing, its motor came back from the engine builder, and it's supposedly leak-free now. So woohoo! So yes, this leak-free 36 horsepower motor. I don't know that I'll put it in tomorrow. If I don't, I'll maybe go ahead and see if Rafa has any interest in doing it on, excuse me, on Monday. But yeah, so that should be about the last thing on this bus, is put that back in and put some more confidence miles on this thing. Again, when I did drive it, drove, ran, stopped, everything freaking awesome. Despite being the Devil bus, it's actually a really great driving bus. So that is the other thing that happened today. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. So appreciate you watching, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.